Morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here January the 7th, 2025. And I think it's a Tuesday. Let's see. Yep, it's a Tuesday. And so I wanted to come on through on this Tuesday and put something in your ears, put something for you to, into your consciousness to contemplate, cultivate, properly meditate, properly ruminate, because we're at these points in our lives where there are some serious factors to consider about how we're headed, and where we're headed is just it's just not good. And if anybody is paying attention, you'll understand that it's not good where we're headed. Literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. The one thing that's hurting us the most is our lack of developing our consciousness. And a lot of people are probably tired of hearing about that, but those type of people have already moved on. I put out a series of videos, towards, I think it was the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. And they were kind of zeroing in on certain elements of people that were supposedly of like-mindedness, but actually turned out to be a cult, C-U-L-T. And I put out a series of videos as breadcrumbs, because you do have to give people. A lot of people say, well, don't give people the benefit of the doubt. You really need to kind of, this 2025 is really the year to dismiss all of this type of hatred speech, the way we're treating people, being cruel and making fun of people and laughing at people, and everybody's something to make a joke out of, create memes and whatever they're calling that. Let that happen, because it's not going to stop. People are not going to stop making fun of each other, teasing each other, harassing each other, stalking each other, blah, 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 blah. That's just our behaviors and actions, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. But like I said, as you evolve your consciousness, you recognize what's going on, and you can still flow with it. You can flow through the worst of times, just as you can flow through the best of times. So when I put out those videos, there were some mistakes on a lot of the videos, thankfully, and it's just because of the language. We have a poor language development as well, and our communication skills are poor. So we're kind of operating off of not the necessary best equipment, as they say, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. But I put out a series of videos, because I felt like, there were cults being developed, and who knows how many there were, it was just, it was troubling, and it was disturbing. And so what I had to do is do everything. And see, that's why when you're dealing with these intellectual minds, they know how to be so sophisticated to where you don't know where the hell they're going. You don't know what's going on inside their mind, but they're very calculating and very clever. And they know how to deceive and manipulate you. A lot of it is that criminal energy. A lot of it with women is that, how they move their hips, how they bat their eyes. It's that feminine quality that drives masculinity, that masculine energy crazy. You'll be here, you'll give them anything you want if you're not careful. If you're not paying attention and conscious of what you're doing and how you're interacting. So, but one thing about the intellectual minds, when someone believes that they're a genius, of course that's arrogance, cockiness, and delusional and hallucinating and illusionary. Because you usually rely on other people to tell you that. You don't just say, oh yeah, I'm a genius. I'm perfect. I'm magnificent. You just, saying that kind of ego-based descriptions of yourself. How powerful you think you are, and how completely delusional. And so I recognized while I was interacting with these series of people that they were attempting to destroy me because I was a female. I'm a biological female, and most of these were biological men, to the best of my knowledge. And they considered themselves highly educated. But who would know? How would I know you're highly educated? I don't know. But what does present itself as evidence of your so-called intelligence or your self-proclaimed geniusness is your results. What's your results of that? Present your results. And that goes through a series of events, as we know, and all we have to do is look to our scientists. And a lot of our scientists are, they, like I said, they've gone insane because they are, kind of, they have a faulty perception of themselves. And so therefore they're going to have a faulty perception of reality and what, and how energy works, how biological components work. So genius means nothing is my point. And we ought to probably have figured that out by now because of how everybody's getting exposed as fraud, whether they are so-called geniuses in math or even entertainment. Okay, politics. We say people are geniuses in politics. But anyway, so I recognized that was happening. It was building and building and building. And then they were coming after me, and, they exposed themselves as frauds, charlatan, and they were dealing in negative criminal energy. But yet they thought they were so spiritual and so divine, that they're talking to, someone outside the universe and all this bullshit. Okay, I recognized that was going on. I figured the other people that were in the midst of it all, because there's thousands upon thousands of us, thousands, millions maybe, thought that somebody would pick it up and say, wait a second. Let's pay attention more to this person. We don't necessarily have to confront them. Let's kind of pay attention to what they're saying and this and that. But no, they rather than focus on them, which were mostly biological men, they were being all concerned about what I'm saying and attempting to discredit me. So the point of the matter is I eventually persevered. And like I said, they exposed themselves as frauds and charlatans and dealing with criminal negative energy. So I put out a series of videos, as you can tell, that where I had to put out the breadcrumbs of it. Because if I had gone to them and say, hey, look, what, blah, 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 I would have got pushback because it happened before when I challenged someone. They threatened to call this person, they threatened to report me, which they did. I knew I was reported. So I had that series of events happening. I had another series of events that were happening at the same time, because that's usually what happens when you get yourself in the midst of a vortex of being targeted. It's coming from all walks of life. It's not just coming from one entity, it's coming from usually several. So that's why a lot of people end up committing suicide or it's alleged that they have. Okay, or being so despondent and depressed that they can't go on. Because you're getting it from all sides. And that's the cowardness of it, because there's a particular entity of people who know everything that's going on with us. And they know that if you're having a dispute here, that's an ample opportunity for them to come in and cause even more of a dispute so that it gets muddled and you don't know where it's coming from. And that's going to make sense, down the line. So I put out a video. The reason why I said that is because, like I said, I made some mistakes in some videos, with the language and the interpretation. And that's part of growth. That's part of evolving as well. That's part of learning more specifically. So I get a little concerned when people say, you need to unlearn stuff. No, you don't want to unlearn anything. You don't want to unlearn something. You want to find, you want to understand what you've been taught and how to find the contradictions in it, find the correlations in it, find the common denominators in it, and as well bringing your thinking mode, bringing that thinking mode of, all of your sensing, some abstract, objective, subjective, that you have to go through that process. So you don't want to unlearn anything. You just want to see what's the value in holding on to it. Is it true or not? The truth is the truth. There's nothing muddled about it. There's no confusion about it. Yes, there's going to be inaccuracies. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be errors. Yes, that's part of it. But as long as you evolve, you're going, you say, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why that had to be changed. Or that makes sense why that formula no longer works. Oh, that makes sense. That makes, it makes sense to you. You have a knowing. Okay, that's very powerful to have a knowing about stuff. It doesn't, you don't understand why but you know. That's what I said about a lot of innately inclined. But like I said, sadly, a lot of them have devolved. Like I said, they're relying on magic, and formulas and potions, and of course some things are going to work sometimes and sometimes they're not. But because that's why we have this encasement of negativity, is because there's so many people that were collectively participating in certain beliefs. Okay, it's not going to happen from one person, flipping cards everywhere. It has to be a massive amount of collectiveness, to get certain type of results of negative criminal energy. And that's what that is what's happening. So I put a video out, look it up and see if you can find it. It's called Meet Your Maker. And what is pointing to, there's some mistakes in it, but anticipate that. But I just want you to think about, suspend your ego, labeling, beliefs. Just keep yourself vulnerable in a safe place, and consider that for a minute. Because if we're listening to what we're, because I do listen to what people are saying, but at the same time, I'm attempting to kind of recreate it in my mind to find the logic in it. I just that is just how my mind works. That's how my thoughts work. And so, I attempt to find the correlations. I look for the contradictions. I look for the common denominators. I just kind of, so I can recall everything that's said to me if I choose to. Especially from people I care about. I can recall everything you've said to me. I can recall it. But I let it kind of neutralize itself properly into me so that, okay, let me see how I can learn from this experience. And I don't take nothing personal per se. It all depends. Everything has a place and time, if I'm just minding my motherfucking business and I'm not bothering you, and then you come in my space, my personal safe space, okay, you're gonna be dealt with. I'm just making that clear and effective. But if if I'm just having a conversation, you're gonna have these back and forth, boom, boom, boom. We're taking shots at each other. The amount of cruelty that I am witnessing, especially online, but sometimes in person. I listen to some of the cruelty that people put, that's coming out of their mouth, and I can tell where there's pain there, because I can feel it. If I can feel that energy and it's hurting me, guess what? I know it's hurting you. So that's where compassion and, like I said, compassion, gentleness, being kind as best you can, and but standing your ground as well. You're not anyone's punching bag, and if there's nothing, if there's no evidence of you causing harm to someone, doesn't mean that you need to take on all of their, all of their pain. It's we're not going to have time for a lot of this pettiness and this immaturity that's happening with a lot of us with our emotions. Your inner child, that inner child phase actually ended in the 90s. Okay. We started blaming our inner child for everything. I was part of that. And it was a great metaphor to evolve yourself, because you were looking at things from a different perspective. Think about when you were a young child. But that whatever happened to you as a young child is over. We need to take that in. It's over. Okay, so what's happening to you right now? Are you still in participating in the activity that caused that pain to you? 99% of the time is no. It's all happening where? In your thoughts. You keep regurgitating it. So that's why you don't heal. That's why you don't heal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop that right here. I just want some of you, because let me just make something clear. When there was a certain element of criminal negative energy, kind of masquerading as almighty. I mean, this person thought they were almighty. Okay, their appearance started changing. They looked like they were starving, most of them in this cult. It was a sad reality, because I had no idea, to be honest with you, that all that stuff was going on in the background. I thought we were just like-minded people, going towards the same type of, going in the same direction, the same goals on paths. They had their destination. I had mine, but we were still horizontally equal, But it was just the rhetoric and the sounds and tones that was coming out of one person in particular. I got really disturbed by that. I'm like, why is that all necessary? Why is it necessary to have these type of sounds and tones, harsh sounds and tones towards people that look to you to guide them? It just didn't make any sense at all. And in a kind way, I attempted to bring it to their attention in a kind way, and it was dismissed. Okay, I'm not responsible for grown ass adults. Okay, that's that pile of friends. And remember what I said. There's people ranking your life. That particular sphere of friends. They have their rank in my life, but they're not, I'm still priority. Okay, and then, like I said, my partner, my significant other comes in equal to me. We are equal, but yet we are still two whole people. So I attempted to bring it to that person's attention, and then I didn't realize how I was affected by it. Because, some of these people were, claiming to be technical geniuses as well. And that's the sad part about our reality. Everybody thinks they're technical geniuses, and that's why we are in the throes of being destroyed by technical, so-called technical minds of people who did not understand what they were getting themselves mixed up with artificial intelligence and now quantum computing. And, people that are into these video games and, these video game realities is how they live their lives. I mean, it's a mess, but it's billions of people like that. And I even said this, if you are not clear about your reality, you're going to be stuck in by the age 40 and down, 40 below, That's going to possibly be your reality, where you're just stuck in a delusion, hallucination, illusionary thinking. You're all powerful because you think something about, you have no proof at all of what you are supposed to be so powerful about. There's no proof of it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop this right here. I'm going to come back a little later, in a week or so, and start talking about other things. It's time to walk that talk. Otherwise, you're going to be exposed, eliminated, and disregarded. No one has time for that. Even though people say, "Oh, take your time." Okay, though anybody that's saying that to you, just be a little bit like, this question. How do they know? They don't know what's going to happen to you tomorrow. They have no idea what's going to happen to themselves. So the time is now. Okay, the time is now. So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. At the end of the day, it's about universal love. And remember, universal love was always inclusive. Trust me, I'll be back.